chocolatey fruit, right?
Yeah, definitely the chocolate note comes through.
Well, I think we have another natural. It smells like to me. Well, this is a very powerful fruit note, so it's the kind of thing that may or may not be pleasing in the cup. But it's always exciting in the nose to get it.
Chocolate and fruit. This has a blueberry. To me,
I'm not getting blueberry, but I'm being ornery, I suppose, and resist.
Well, I knew that.
Yeah, no surprise. I'm resisting blueberry because it's
You're
too
resisting
easy.
Jumping to blueberry. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
isn't it?
right. I want to let the fruit speak to me.
Okay.
So there's a powerful floral element. And this really does, it's a kind of a lily, maybe a lily that's been sitting in the vase for a while.
In a vase for a while, yeah, it is.
And it's a kind of a brandy note, I think. You're getting that?
Wow,
in other words,
nice. Yeah.
You get a brandy that really has a fruit to it. That's what I'm getting. It's a brandy, definitely brandy note. In other words, the fruit is an element in that brandy note, I think. To me. I sure hope it tastes as good as it's smelling. Yeah, but it's
that's always a great disappointment, isn't it? When you love the smell so much, and then
Well, I mean, it could be over the top in the cup. We'll see.
Yeah.
But this is a note, Kevin, that in the old days, the specialty industry, the cuppers would say, take it away. It's fermented.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Fermented.
Yeah, right. It took a while for them to
realize
people,
that's
for people, ordinary coffee drinkers, to tell them that they were wrong.
We like that. We like that thing that disgusts you so much. Yeah.
Now, of course, we have the other extreme where the producers are going crazy with processing experiments.
I know.
Yeah. But this is a classic kind of fruity natural. I think that people in the industry who are critical of this note call it fruit bomb.
A fruit bomb,
These are fruit bomb coffees. Yeah, as a kind of a put down brought over from wine.
Yeah.
Here's to you and fruit.
Thank you to fruit.
Kevin, I'm going to put you on the spot and say, is this a clean natural or a Furmenty natural?
I think it's Furmenty.
I think it's right on the edge, actually. There is there's a ferment in there, but it's pretty clean.
Is it? Yeah, okay.
And it doesn't have, by clean we mean it doesn't have that sort of slightly composty edge.
Yeah, I don't know that I taste composted.
The Furmenty naturals, it's sort of like you have a piece of fruit and you can't decide whether you want to eat it because it's so sweet or throw it away because it's on the edge of rotten. And it's that edge. This doesn't have it. This is definitely on the clean side of the description. It's surprisingly simple in the cup. I expected more going on. What are you getting in the cup? What notes would you say?
I'm getting something a little sour. Am I imagining
I think that's right. Yeah, sour. I mean, that's a bad word, right? People have bad associations. Usually in coffee review, we avoid sour because there's bad associations, and unless we don't like the cup. So we tend to say, at least I tend to say tart instead of sour. Yeah, which is not quite right for this coffee. There's a little edge, a kind of acidy edge, that kind of fruity, acidy edge to the cup, to the taste. Nice mouthfeel again.
Yeah, definitely the viscosity in the body is great.
Yeah, big plush sort of mouthfeel. It fades away.
Short finish.
Yeah. This is the first one in the group that's had kind of a It's not unpleasant, but it's just not there. It's not much that just fades very quickly. We talk about it, coffee review, talk about the long finish often, which after a minute or two. And in the long finish, I'm getting a kind of chocolate, I think. Fruit tone chocolate. Kind of pleasant. Yeah, there's a kind of a little bit of a edge to the cup, and I think that edge, you could describe it as sourish, or you could describe it as maybe a little like the brandy, a little bit of brandy edge, kind of fruit alcohol edge.
I mean, very drinkable.
Yeah, right. It's again a kind of cup that calls attention to itself in basically pleasant way, positive way. Probably make a nice espresso, straight shot espresso. Well, there's something more I want to say about this cup before we just close on it. But what I'm trying to get at is that it does have a kind of a slightly aggressive sour ferment in it. But that's so ugly compared with what I'm tasting, that description.
Yeah, I know.
It's a very pleasant sensation.
It's a very pleasant fermented sour. It's hard to describe, but there are plenty of flavors in food and beverages that when you describe them initially do sound like they would be negatives, and they're not. They're still it's a character that it has.
Well, I'm ready to disclose unless you have something more to say.
And let me bring this forward. This is a Pacamara. How about it, Dennis? Am I good?
But it's a natural.
Yeah, it's a natural, right?
Natural process. So the natural process, I think, is pretty much ruling in the cup. It's pretty much the determining element in the cup.
Yeah.
Pacamara, let me taste it again with Pacamara in mind. Yeah, now I can, of course, since I know it's a Pacamara, now I'm getting Pacamara characteristics. I'm so clever.
Well, let me well, it explains something. These are large beans. Wow. They are, actually. I don't know if it's possible to get a close-up of this, Dennis. As close as you can get.
In the cup, I think the Pacamara character is really buried by the natural processing, but it's probably there, and if it is, it's a kind of a sweet savory.
And they're saying the caramel, which I thought was not at the top, syrupy cooked berry flavors, and red wine.
Cooked berry, that's pretty good.
I think. Yeah.
Cooked berry, red wine, I would say more brandy than wine. Certainly the fruit alcohol.
This is pretty dramatic. Well, look at that. All right.
Oh yeah. Pacamaras, they're always at least a little bigger, and often they're very dramatically larger than a normal bean.
Yeah, well, that's as they were describing.
Again, as I said, the Pacamara really challenges the farmer because after the seedlings sprout, somebody has to go around and look at the seedlings to see whether any have reverted to the pacas, to the regular bean parent of the hybrid. So it's a labor intensive. But then of course they separate out the small beans usually with some kind of screening process.
Very nice. And the roaster is one that I wasn't familiar with, Belluck's Coffee. And they're in, I think they're in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. They don't have their address on here, but if I recall them,
all right.
Georgia.
Nice name.
Yeah. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more shows like this.